Hey, hey, my creative friends. It is time to talk about our creative lives. I'm Shannon from Shannon Studio, and I come to you daily to talk about tips that might help us be more creative, stay more creative. But before we start our tip today, I was just like, sometimes, some days after my daughter passed away, I do okay, but some days are just, days, I don't know why, but like today, I was just teary-eyed all day long, crying at different things, had thoughts. Hi, Trisha, and you might know about this too, Trisha. You feel this way too, where you passed away, but things will just trigger your memories of them. Hey, Jesse. And you will think about them. And today was one of those days where I just thought of Layla often, and I would get teary-eyed, and it's just, one of those days. And then Jesse sends me a picture of Johnny, one of my grandsons, who took one of the chairs that Layla had and took a pin to it and kind of stabbed it, making a new design on it. And I just thought, today is a day I could just really get emotional about it. And it was like, it's just a chair. And Jessie says, sorry, it's been a Saturday. It has. You know that too. And some days it's just like that. And some days I can talk about it and be totally fine. And some days I just have to bawl. And so it's just one of those days. Trisha says, yes, that is so for me. Thankful that those days are not every day. Very true. In the beginning, they seem like they're every day, to be truthful. It seems like I cried every day for several months. But, it's just that's your new normal after somebody passes away that you're close to. And you just have to accept that and know that it's okay. It's okay to feel that. Yeah, it's okay. So we're going to talk about cleaning today. We're going to talk about, all this week, we're going to talk about ways in order to talk about thoughts that help us make shifts, maybe, to make more time to clean. Because time is one of the biggest things that we as moms, families, Tricia says me too, yes, where we have families and we want to do something else besides clean, then we have to think about cleaning. If you want a creative life, you're going to have to address cleaning. So that's what we're going to talk about all this week. But today we're going to talk about general cleaning. And it was, for me, like I said before, growing up, I knew what clean was. I didn't know how to keep it clean or consistently clean. And I definitely knew what mold was on dishes and sinks. And some people never know. I knew what it was. Some people don't know what that is. But then I also, when I was a teenager, went to a friend's house, and it was very clean, very immaculate. And it was very clean. But I remember when we were there, he was so nervous about, you got to push in the chair, and you got to, do certain things. And then when we had a bite to eat, he ate over the sink. And I believe I sat down at the table with the plate, but he ate over the sink to not get crumbs. And I just thought, ooh, that's not the way I want, those were kind of, opposite. I thought that there would be something in the middle that would be better. So I remember when I started having my own family, I read some homemaking books, and I was learning how to clean consistently. And I would clean the house and vacuum twice a day. And I really liked things clean. And then it started to, as we got more, it just started to be this thing where I was irritated when people would dirty the house, and I would get mad, and I wanted it clean, but I didn't want to only clean all the time, so they weren't supposed to get it dirty. And that's just like, something's wrong here. And I had to really visit that idea of what is my level of clean. And we didn't even have 8 kids by that. I think that was 3 or 4. And so that's one of the big things that I had to realize. That first, one of the things is that we had clear, we really had clear roles I was to manage and clean, make sure the house was. And so I had to change my view of what clean was. So there are a few things I learned in that process that we'll talk about tonight. So also, having a house of 10 people to manage is different than having a house of like 3 people like we do now. Totally different, but I think some of the ideas and thoughts can help because sometimes you can feel totally overwhelmed with 3 people, and you might need to visit how you clean with just 3 people. So first off, I want to just say, I think formal dining rooms and formal living rooms are so underrated. I never knew why they had them. I was like, why? Well, if you had that, then and nobody goes in those rooms, then they're always clean. So when guests over, they're clean. They go there. When you want some peace and quiet, or you want to sit in a sane room that's not busy or have stuff all over it, that's where you go. So totally underrated. I would totally bring back the formal living room and dining room. So the next thing is, know your own cleaning habits. For instance, a lot of people would say you need to clean with your kids. Well, I hated that. Sorry, Jess. I hated that, to clean with my kids. And when you're organizing the family to clean, I couldn't do my cleaning and keep track of them to make sure they were doing their cleaning. It didn't work for me. And so I knew that. I enjoyed cleaning when I could do it by myself. And so when I wanted to clean, I did it by myself. When I was having the other kids clean, or the children clean, the other kids, like I'm a kid too. When I had the kids clean, then I had them clean by themselves, and I didn't really clean. I mean, I'd pick up, but I didn't really get into the cleaning. So know how you work and how you like to clean. Also, know your expectations. Maybe change your expectations. We're all raised differently. We all have different ideas of what clean is, and just really get on the same page with your family to see what your level of clean is. I had to kind of lower my expectations. Jesse says we all hated it. Cleaning is so not fun when everyone is fighting. Yeah. Cleaning is not fun. I mean, it's not like a thing like, oh, let's wake up and clean the house today and it's going to be so fun. I mean, it's a needful thing. It's something that is needful in life, and it's not going to be probably the thing where you plan your vacation around cleaning your house. I mean, maybe you do. Okay, more thoughts. So change your expectation, because I wanted to do other things, projects, and clean and be creative. I knew I had to shift, and the more people we got, the more I had to shift my ideas. Be flexible. This is something I didn't really realize, is that you have to rework your routine anytime there's a transition. So like for summers, for back to school, for vacations, for when guests come over, so when somebody's sick or several somebodies are sick, when you have a big home project, when you're serving others, when you have a needy child, when your family's involved in productions, all those things shift how your cleaning routines go. And you have to shift with them, and to be able to go, okay, don't make everybody crazy. Don't make yourself crazy. This isn't going to work in the way we usually do it, so let's change up the routine. It can be dirty for a little while. And then knowing when you can get back on track helps too. Okay, another thing is teach the family. Everyone lives in the house. Everyone cleans the house. Alan, my husband, grew up in a traditional family where the mom did all the cleaning. And that was worked for them. My view is that we all live there, we all clean. Now it's a little bit different because we ended up with 10 people living in our house for several years. And that's a lot. There is simply no way I can clean up after 8 other people or 9 other people. My math's good. There's just no way. There is literally, not physically or mentally, I could clean up after 8, 9 other people. It's just not possible. Everybody should clean. Everybody should understand what it takes to have a clean house, what they're doing. If you, like yesterday, Joseph, just this little simple thing, Joseph's light on his bedroom, he forgets to turn it off. So he's downstairs, I'm upstairs. And I say, Joseph, you need to come up and turn off your light. And he's like, well, you could do it, you're up there. He's 6. Yes, that's the logical thing. But then Alan says, no, you're going to go do it so you can learn and remember that you need to turn off your light. So, there's things that we learn as a family when the family cleans the home. So, teach everyone that everyone lives there, everyone cleans. I would have people, my kids, I think some of my kids really hated this, but if kids came over to play and they were still there during cleaning time, guess who got to clean with us? And you know what? They complain less than my own kids. So if you're in my house and it's cleaning time, you are part of the family and you clean. And kids just expected that. They wouldn't even flinch, and it was a funny thing. I don't know that they thought it was funny, but okay. Involve kids when they're young. You start them out when they want to clean. Every kid wants to clean, and if you give a kid a spray bottle with a little water in it, watch them go to town. It is the cutest thing. And, they're naturally wanting to help, naturally wanting to be big, be part of things. And I see a lot of times where parents will say, no, don't do that. Where I'm going, I really think you really want to let them do that so that they know they're part of the experience, the family experience, the cleaning experience. And then it's just a pattern, and it grows. They grow up with it, with that expectation that I'm part of the family, I clean, and I can do things. It doesn't matter what age I am. So start them young. My kids are all doing things 2, 3 years old. They were young. And you know what the bonus of that is? All my kids are so capable. They're capable adults. They can take care of themselves. They can, and I'm really... They're really good at that. They have life skills and feel confident in taking care of themselves. Let's see, bedrooms. Bedrooms were autonomous spaces in my mind, maybe because I couldn't handle dealing with their messes. But it was just like, it's your space. You treat it how you want to. I keep the rest of the house clean. It's, you do what you want to do. Jesse says, I even remember one time Mackenzie Madsen was there when we got a cleaning talk and then she had to help. I can't see the rest of it. So sorry. It's true. I did. I involved kids. Yeah. I was no respecter of children. That was the bottom line. And if you were doing something I didn't think you should be doing, in my house, the rules were you can't scream unless there's an emergency or you're in trouble. There's some kind of trouble. You did not scream. And I remember, I tell them, I remember getting some kids out of our pool because they screamed. And I went to the window to look, they were older teenagers and they were, and I said, I told you not to scream, out of the pool for 5 minutes. So man, I ran a tight ship. Let's see, so bedrooms, and also Jesse reminded me, because I talked to her earlier, that I was not afraid to throw out things, kids' things. If they don't take care of them, because with their bedrooms, even though they were autonomous, every few months I would go in there and purge if their room wasn't clean, because it was I let you have I can only take so much. And so, and I wasn't afraid to throw things away. Let's see, chore charts. I've had all manner of chore charts. And the best one I liked was the one that I would keep hanging in the bathroom. They were on those lanyard things. And on one side was the minimum chores, the daily chores. And then the flip side was company ready, company is coming chores. And so, if a company was coming and, I would just say, flip it over, and it had a little checklist and you would do it. That's the way I liked best. We did different kinds, you work with what works for your family. So then also, let's see, for cleaning, sometimes cleaning, Okay, some of our older kids would end up being gone a lot for sports or for young, youth activities or things like that. And then that left just the younger ones home, and a lot of times we would skip some of the chores that had to be done. Or if I felt like, one or two kids were having to do everything, then they got paid for some of the chores because I didn't really feel like it was fair. Also, with some of the chores, the bigger chores or the things that were not having to be done daily, I would put those on a chore chart and they could earn money from those. So I liked that too. And then countdown, kind of making a game of some of the daily stuff. Like I would, with the kids, pick up 20 items as fast as you can. And so we'd count out, they count and bring them to me. And then also, how fast can you clean? I would start counting and see, they'd try to get it done it's so simple. But they would rush around because it was a game. So I'd count and see how long they could do it and how high I would get before they were done. Then we would do sometimes just a 15-minute cleaning, and then that was it, set a timer. Then we do the mad dash cleaning where company was coming in. We knew they were coming right away. And so we'd all mad dash, just grabbing everything. And then put things in a pile. It is amazing. Everything's all over the house. If you at least put it in a pile, it looks okay. It takes away some of the stress to just put it in a pile. Okay, and then everybody cleans off the table after you eat. I remember being at Alan's house once, and we're all older teens, and everybody got up from the table and left their dishes. And I'm like, nuh-uh. And like I said, they were more traditional. The mom did all the work. And so they just got in a habit. And she didn't say anything. I was like, no, we're picking up the plates and helping. So everybody after dinner helps and everything else. So I would have stacked dirty dishes. Because sometimes we're off to go do some activity. I was in youth activities too, so we'd all be leaving and doing things. And so I've read things, do your dishes right after dinner. And I read one that said, it only takes 10 minutes. And I thought, you are a family of 2. Because when you have a family of 10, it doesn't take 10 minutes. And oftentimes you have other people there, other friends and stuff. It did not take 10 minutes. And so by the end of the day, I was tired. And I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to make my kids deal with it. So, you know what? It could wait till the morning. And so, you figure out what works for you. But that was one thing. And stacking the dirty dishes looks a whole lot better than just piling it all. Somehow, for me, the order of it, everything stacked, all the plates, it just felt better. If it's going to be dirty dishes, at least, it felt better, looked better. Also, we moved into a place where they had carpet underneath the dining room table. My eyes are just like that emoji where the eyes are like, I'm just like, who does that? Sometimes you just have to switch it up, because after a point where I'm cleaning, like those steam cleaner things, I bought one and I was cleaning every 2 weeks and that wasn't enough. And it was just like, this is nuts. And let's get rid of this carpet. Sometimes you have to do things that just change it up because your cleaning is taking up so much time. And so you've got to figure that out and say, stop the madness, and figure out how to change it so it's not so much time. And then also another thing we did, we would invite people over, so it made us clean. And so we entertained a lot. Vacuuming, like I said, I did it twice a day. That's probably a little extreme. But I read an article that said vacuum once a week, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I could not wait to vacuum once a week. So what I would do is vacuum when it's needful, or spot vacuum. And, it doesn't have to be a tight, you can look around and see what needs to be done, and have your expectations at a certain level if you have a lot of people, and you can decide. Jessie says, she was telling me about her Roomba that she has, and she loves it. It goes around vacuuming things up. I'm a proponent of that, and the kids have to clean up so that the vacuum can go around, the Roomba can go around. Let's see, put multiple cleaning products and get multiple cleaning products and put them in multiple rooms, so that if something needs to be done, you can just do it without having to go get the stuff, come back. Trisha says, I mow the lawn so I don't vacuum. I call it outdoor vacuuming. I do remember that. Doesn't Coy vacuum? It seems like Coy vacuums and you do the lawn. Sometimes just making, having set responsibilities where you just like, this is your responsibility. Jessie got the bathroom for a long stretch there where she cleaned the bathroom so well, she always got the bathroom. So yeah, sometimes we have to divvy out those things and have somebody do it a little bit longer term. A couple more. Drop spots in your house. Usually entering your house. Yep, Tricia says, yep, that's how her and Coy work it. Drop spots in your house. These are areas that really can throw you off, because usually they're near the entry where everybody walks in and drops their backpacks and takes off their shoes and does their thing. And that, that can just really, you will have in your house areas that you have to figure out how to work them. And a drop spot's really one. And you just take a look at what's there, figure out. We had hooks. Hooks were a great thing. And we had this long line of hooks, and just put them on the hooks. Put it on the hooks. Don't drop it on the floor. Pick it up. Go put it on the hooks. Hooks are a great thing. And we'll talk more about organizing later on this week. Kids would, another tip is, first off, nothing on the floor. I remember I didn't do this one until later in life, but nothing on the floor. You don't drop it on the floor. You don't put it on the floor. You don't stack it on the floor. Nothing on the floor. I mean, and I'm not talking toys. I'm talking like backpacks and notebooks and coats and gloves, or, nothing on the floor. That's a little mantra. Nothing on the floor. So, and then also the kids would, they'd come to me and ask, can I go over, or can we have somebody over? And I would always ask them, have you done your chores? And whatever their answer was, if it was, no, I haven't done my chores, I said, then you answered your own question. So they'd know. And if they said yes, and it was like, okay, it wasn't like I didn't want them to do anything and just stay home and clean all the time. It's just like, there's a certain level of cleanliness that we expect in this house, and you have to participate. So don't ask me for something else until you take care of the responsibilities you have. So I would use that all the time. And it worked, because then they started coming to me, guess what? With the chores already done. And I didn't even have to ask them to do them. And the last tip for tonight, if you need help, hire it out. That's beautiful. Hire it out. If it's long-term, if it's short-term, we didn't really hire it out because we really felt like we wanted them to take responsibility and see that they needed to do things in the house. And so Alan and I talked about hiring some things out, and we just didn't really feel like that's the route we wanted to go. But totally, now that we have one, I'm even thinking about it now. I thought about it in Amman and asked somebody, but we weren't going to be there long term enough when I was in Jordan to do that. But since I'm working on building a career, and even though we have one, I'm thinking about doing that, because I am ultimately one that decides, because that's my responsibility in our family. So if you are at a point that some of these things aren't even going to work for you, then hire it out. Have a big clean, hire it out, and then see where you can go. All these tips are just ideas to get you thinking about what you can do to be able to make time, streamline things, and that's what all this week's going to be. Talking about how you can shift your thinking or shift some of your routines, or how you do things so that you can create time for you to do things, to make things, to be creative. And so, yeah. And I know for sure you have ideas. So type them in and share with us, because I am sure we do not, there's always things that we can learn from one another, and running our homes is one of the things that can be such a downer sometimes, and that we can really use help with. So put your tips and tricks and thoughts into the comments, and I don't know what I'm going to call this tip, but we'll see after after the video and write it up. But in the meantime, remember you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it. And I will be back tomorrow. Bye.